Okay, now we're going to talk about some metadata editing. So there's nothing in the description here. So I could go one at a time and put in stuff like, and I did that by clicking on a field and hitting E, which means edit selected record. So if I was in the library field, if I click there and hit E, I'm now in library. And I can do multiple by selecting and then hit E. So that's all right. You can assign artwork. So these don't have anything. So I can right click, assign artwork, do that. So now I've got, if I expand it up, I've got the it clown assigned to those. Or I can select some sound files, just drag it onto the interface, and that will also assign if you drag a JPEG or a PNG file. And Soundminer will do any sort of downsampling that's needed. So if you drag like a 5 megabyte Photoshop JPEG file on at like 300 DPI, it will go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And it will scale it down to 1024 by 1024, I think is the maximum resolution right now. And of course it gets displayed in multiple places. You can also, if you don't want to have it down there under the waveform prefs, you can, view the artwork on and off. And there's also all kinds of other options if you don't want the timeline, or if you don't want that smart drag thing that I showed in the previous video, you can turn that off. Okay, anyway, metadata. Keep getting distracted. So that works fine if you're just going through one at a time. But let's say you want to do something a lot more complicated. Let's say I want to set multiple fields at once. So we'll call it designer. Now, even though I didn't design these sounds, I'm going to pretend I did. So I'm going to call it workflows, and I can set the library to be something. This library. And then I'll also call up another set field, drag it into the center there, and go designer to be Justin. I'll just bypass these. And now if I run it, you can see it set the designer for the selected records. It set the library, and I've got full undo, so I could undo this as well. Oh, there's a little bug that should come forward. Okay. See, this is good. Again, go through a demo and you find all the small little things. Thankfully, this thing is pretty stable. I think now it's just a case of finding some of those little weird UI inconsistencies. So let's do something a little bit more complicated. Let's set the library field to be this library. We're going to insert 2 characters on the end, maybe. And we're going to append to the end of library in the format double zeros, starting at 1 for every one of these files. So I'll run it. So you can see it put a space there, and then it's put starting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. Now, if you're familiar with Soundminer's field build, which is part of this whole go here, transfers, and the naming scheme, there's things like no vowels, NV. So let's use that. So I'm going to say for the description, workflows. Again, I have to do this. I'm just going to clear everything out, and we'll go field build into the description field. I'm going to take the file name. I'm going to go NV for no vowels. And I'm going to put on an underscore and then a library. And then I'm going to make it a maximum of 128 characters. So what do these numbers mean? That's just a priority number, which means that if these 2 things appended together went over 128 characters, it would take one with the 2 is now the lowest priority. So think of it like first place, second place, third place. It'll try not to truncate file name because it has a priority level of 1. It'll try to truncate this library field because it has a priority level of 2. So that's basically what the numbers mean. Okay, let's run this. So you can see it copied the file name. It took out all the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. I don't know if sometimes Y applies. I have to check my code. So it's done that, and then it's done an underscore and put in library. So there's just these little actions to do like absolutely tons of things, capitalizing first letters, sentences. You can put like, dates in, remove things, remove spaces. There's like regex expressions for a lot of the stuff as well. So like find and replace is pretty good. So if you really were pretty handy with your regex, I could say find everything greedy up to library. So I'm going to go library and replace it with new things in description. Oh, but I had to group library as well. But you can see that's very powerful way of editing the metadata. There's also ways of exporting text and importing text as well. But I think for the most part, you could do a lot with the workflows.